what you do today as far as professionalism, they know is critical.
Here it is. Another one's in the books. This one is with Scott Nicholson from Housing Link. Scott is both a mortgage advisor, been there for 26 years, so tons of knowledge, and he's the owner of Housing Link, co-founder of Housing Link. And you're going to love just the platform of Housing Link. It's a tool where you can help your buyers through education, tons of education. You can use it in several different ways, from how to go out and get offers accepted, to just educating your borrowers, also to attracting buyers agents and going after them. So I think if you sit here and listen to everything Scott has to do and you go check out Housing Link, you're going to find it pretty impressive. I know a lot of top-notch mortgage advisors that are using it and swear by it. So I hope you guys like the podcast. Okay, here we are. And before I actually even allow you to talk, Scott, I have this one thing I've been trying to figure out. Like, you were a professional golfer, and it's not like the Marines where once you were, you still always are, right?
Right. Yeah.
So same time, Scott Nicholson, right? So Jack Nicklaus and Phil Mickelson. Did you become the average of two of the best players in golf, or did you not quite get that far?
I wish it was that, so unfortunately my name is with the actor, not the golfer. So I kind of, so I wish I was a fraction of those two, a fraction of Jack or a bit of Mickelson, but I wish. But no, that's pretty funny. No.
So if you don't make it in professional sports, you end up in the mortgage business.
Exactly, right? We shelved the career 30 something years ago, right? And slid into, mortgages on that way. Yep.
All right.
That's
So
how
with
it
that
happens.
said, Scott Nicholson, veteran in the mortgage industry and co-founder of Housing Link, which is a pretty cool platform. So welcome to the podcast.
I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here. This is, I appreciate this. And even our conversations last week, I was really looking forward to this. So I appreciate being here.
So I got to say, for all you guys listening, I got to spend several days with Scott in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
We were advocating for, first-time home buyers and all that. And I asked him to be on the podcast. And I got to tell you, this dude is always selling.
Right.
So here we are. I'm gonna do the interview, and I'm gonna try and control him because I know he's not gonna be able to stop himself or control himself. I'm gonna be asking him a question, and he's gonna answer, and then he's gonna divert over into selling you Housing Link.
Right. No, I promise I'll be good on that. I'll be good on that.
No, it's all good. I mean, part of this is, all your years of experience created that. So just bear with me. We're going to get to it, though. Before we even get to any of that, I want to know, who is Scott Nicholson, both personally and professionally?
I think personally who I am, I'm a very low key guy. I'm super chill. I love sports. I'm super competitive. You wouldn't know it. I'm like under the radar competitive. I'm in Orange County, we have our 26th anniversary, my wife, our 25th anniversary this year. I have two great girls, 20s, girls. Life is good. I mean, life is blessed. Life is good. No complaints. It's good. So that's the personal side. Business side. Like you said, right? Scott's always selling. And I'm not really more of a salesman per se. I'm an educator. I'm married to an educator, right? My whole career, all my 26 years in the mortgage business was about education. I always led with, if I can help them learn, right? I think that sells me, right? So I'm not going to sit here in sales first. I'm always leading with education and everything I've done, the foundation of everything. And I remember in 2008, when the market was collapsing, the first thing we did, I remember the looks in my LO's eyes. It was June of 2007. I remember the implode-meter, back in the day. And we had fundings that were going down that day, and the wires weren't going out. I'm like, what's going on here? Right. Everyone knows, the veterans know these stories. I go, shoot, let me make a phone call and it was ready to go, and I go, man, we're gonna go down. So I
So real quick,
remember.
I'm gonna pause just for a
Oh,
second
oh
for
yeah,
all you guys
yeah.
that have no idea what he's talking about. Back in the day, there is this website. It might even still be there. It's called the implode-meter, I think .com. And be honest with you, everybody in the office was glued to it. We were like, "Oh, another one bites the dust." Oh, and basically, it was showing all the banks going out of business every day. It was absolutely insane. And then the other piece that he was talking about was, you're supposed to fund a loan. It's a purchase. People have moving trucks lined up. They got their money in escrow, and there's no more money. The bank just imploded, so they don't fund. Now I have a better story. You probably have the same one, but loan funded. Everybody's celebrating. Whoo, we made it. 4:30 rolls around. The escrow officer calls us and says, the bank called us and told us not to allow it to record, send the money back.
Oh, oh,
So
can you
we
imagine?
were hours away because funding doesn't mean shit anymore, right? Like it does now. It didn't back then. Funding just meant you're one step closer. Recording was all that mattered back in those years.
So I didn't mean to go back in bad times, but I think that's my professional background. Was I remember the looks on my LOs, and I had a branch at the time with a company, and all of a sudden the wires weren't going through. I go, man, we're going to be on the implode meter because we're holding our wires right now. They're not going out, and we'd scale down staff, for corporate and all that. And I go, all right, so let me make a couple phone calls. Long story short, we pivoted to a very large brand bank, which you probably know who it was, B of A. And that's where the education, like, okay, we used to make these buy down sheets, flyers. We would drop in the Excel, do a publisher, took us 45 minutes, but we were out in our local communities helping agents doing all the buy downs right there. So that's kind of where, the you just adapt to the change, right? And I believe you lead with education. It's kind of what we were talking about in DC. I mean, you have to, like, okay, I don't know what can be done, right? And there's a lot of stuff going on back there, but we have to adapt to it right now. And you lead by education, and that's your best selling feature, I think, for people in this day and age.
Hey, let me ask you. Now that we both have experienced the Washington D.C. thing, right, and showing up and lobbying and trying going there with good intentions. I know I did. I know you did. No alternative motive other than can we make a difference in helping people buy homes? What is your gut instinct now after all said and done? Did we do any good?
I this is a great question. And if we didn't do the trigger law, I would have no hope in Congress. But I think the trigger law that they just passed gave us hope, right? I think, like, okay, we can come together, we can agree on, you know, obviously that issue, right? Um, the advocacy around that whole when that passed, which was great. I think if that didn't go, I wouldn't have much faith in Congress coming together, meeting, halfway, agreeing on something they could put together and fix. But so with that said, I think there can be stuff done because I think both sides feel the pain. I almost wanted to ask one of the congressmen, like, "Hey, do you have children?" I do. Do you guys stay up at night? And what do you think about on a personal level, right? Forget the politics, all that. What do you think as a parent when your children who are 20, 25, coming out of college, do you worry about them getting to homeownership? And you think that's a something that you want to put your stamp behind? And I almost wanted to get personal with them and ask them that if they would really answer us right with that, because I know if we were in their shoes and I go, yeah, my wife and I stay up at night sometimes and we think about our girls into homeownership. So going back to DC, I do believe we can come together. The primary's coming up. I do think both people can maybe stand on that, like, hey, we got this coming together because it's a full crap show back there right now. Let's be real. Um, and so hopefully they can come together. But there's stuff that we could do, right? You can do, right, as the lender in this day and age. There's smaller things, but we need help.
So you know what my take was. I don't know what my expectations were, but I guess I didn't I didn't leave feeling super enthused. I didn't leave feeling like we made a difference. Um, but you're right. Hey, the trigger deal did come from us, and that did make a difference. But I left thinking to myself, I can do way more good on my own every single day than I can over there. I left thinking if the goal is to get people into houses and I have the ability to bless somebody by doing it for next to nothing or even free because that's what it took to get them into the house. You know what? That's better. That's better. It's something I can do today, something I can really bless somebody with and make a difference, for them. And then aside from me doing something for free, right? And I don't want to discount people are we're doing this for a living and you and I have been doing it for so long, giving up a loan here and there probably isn't that big of a deal. But to a lot of, younger loan officers, I mean, maybe it's a bigger deal, and I get that, right? But don't ever worry about my message to them is don't ever worry about that. Like sometimes instead of just letting somebody grind you down and you taking that one, just do it out of a good gesture. And I do think you'll get rewarded a million times
Like,
over
oh,
because
a
of that.
thousand, 1,000%. And I'll even add to that what the LO could do today. Like, okay, so I'm with you on that. I think the trigger law was my last little piece that I'm clinging on to. We can get hope. And I agree with you that you got to get back in your own hometown, in your local markets, and you have to be the advocate there, right? And lead with training these realtors, your agent partners, or partner with your financial planners or CPAs. Get everyone to collaborate in all the little things you can do. Bring your insurance brokers in. I mean, we were having a conversation at our table. Remember the guy who built new construction? His insurance went to 40,000 a year. Then he had to be pushed into the state, insurance. So he went from 2 to 40, and then he had to go to state insurance down to 14. I mean, those are things that we need to fix, right? There's the tax issues, the capital gains. I mean, without getting a soapbox, but let's go back to the local level. And you made a great point. I don't think people understand the power of buy downs. And I'm not talking temporary. I'm talking about, and I've done these my whole career. The buy downs are a massive tool in today's market, meaning if you structure buy downs correctly, you can penetrate all below you can't avoid interested third parties. You can penetrate below like normal concession levels, right? When you get into predatory lending, as long as you structure correctly in the contract, meaning you can have a seller that's being forced to sell, whatever the D's are, right? And we got to sell, and this is an opportunity to go to market. It's kind of taking a page out of the builder playbook. You can go as an LO, help the listing agent, the seller says, let me help you structure. Because if you take this asset in the market in a higher rate environment, at price points where you're at, you spent 30 years in here, you've appreciated, you're going to try to find the needle in a haystack to sell this. But what you could do, we can come in and say, hey, for X, we can allot, let's say 400 basis points, right? You just build your net to it, right? So if you're going to sell it for 2 million or a million or whatever the price points are going to be, we can allot 400 basis points, which is 4 points, which is really, sorry, I didn't mean to go very detailed here. You can get 100 basis points under your predatory lending law if you structure the contract. Here's my point. By reducing the rate, let's say in the middle fives, right? Let's say high sixes or wherever your sixes are at, like sixes right now, get into the low fives, maybe do a hybrid, which is a perm buy down and a small temporary. You're reducing ratios 8, 9, 9%. That's a big deal. That's a massive deal, right? And it offsets the insurance costs, it offsets. So helping with affordability, that's something the local LO can go right now today and go to all the sellers and the listing agents and help them market their properties and structure, that way with perm buy downs. I'm a huge advocate of those programs. And I think today's LO, I didn't mean to go this direction with you, but I think today's if DC is not going to fix it, you can fix it. And here's the first tool you can do it with.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Um, all right. So usually I take everybody back to day one of when they started. And
Oh,
and just for and
have
just
I
for
told you this?
context, no.
Oh, okay. My day one's unbelievable, really.
All right. So then let's just go there then. But I don't and then I usually walk back through your journey all the way back to today again. But I want to go there and then I want to fast forward considerably so I can get back to Housing Link because I do think it's a great product and I want everybody to hear about it. So let's start with day one.
I let me put this into context for everyone. I as a little kid growing up, right, high school, college, went to Long Beach State. We all went to there. We played. We left school after 5 years. I was right there to graduate, but we all just wanted to play. And this is in the 80s. We played on the mini tours. There were many tours back then. I'm a very pale, white kid, right? And I've had a lot of skin cancer over my years, right? So that's all this sets up to my day one, believe it or not. So I in the 80s, I or in getting through the 80s and the 90s, we played all the mini tours, and a lot of the guys, I'm almost 60. So a lot of the guys now are kind of aging out on the senior tour, like Paul Goidos, Stankowski, those guys are coming off now. So I'm in that group. So in 90, Jamie Mulligan, who is Patrick Cantley's teacher and Nellie Corda, so he's a good friend of mine. He was my teacher growing up. He goes, "Hey, Nicholson, you're not going to make a living." I go, "I know." So help me. Let's become the other side of the golf pro. Instead of trying to play for a living, why don't you be one of my pros at a golf course we opened up in Orange County called Coyote Hills? I go, "Sure." So I opened up Coyote Hills in the 90s, right? And then in 2000, I met a very good friend of mine. His name was Tom Bass, right? Do you know Tom by chance? So Tom Bass is one of the OGs who's in the group with Savage, right? And Jim McMahon, not Jim McMahon, but that whole group, Floyd and all those people. And he happened to live on the fifth hole. So him and Tane Cahill, owner president of South Pacific Financial, every day. Come on, Scott, come to banking, right? Come with us, right? Get out of the sun and all your skin cancer. So here's the first day. 9/11. It's my first day of work. So I get up and Lisa goes, "Man, look at this." And I remember I go, "What the heck is going on here?" And then, okay, so I drove in with Tom. So we carpooled into his office. So he's in where you are. He's in Newport, and his offices are in Rancho Cucamonga. So we drove together. We're just kind of in that daze. And I go, "Hey, Scott, just your first day. Obviously, it didn't get off to a good start for a lot of different reasons. Just mirror me. Stay with me as I meet all my consultations." I remember just watching the darn TV the whole day. I had no idea who he was talking about and all that stuff. So I'll never forget the conversations he was having with his clients was totally not even mortgage, even though they came in to buy a house with him. It was just, so I'll never forget my first day, which was 9/11, right? Which is crazy. So that's how I started my mortgage career right there.
That's a big first day.
Yeah.
How did you start in the lead buy or in the referral based?
No, it's referral. So I had this massive book of clients. So the when I stopped playing and I started teaching, I was right next to St. Jude in Fullerton Hospital. So I did taught a lot of doctors. So I did a lot of pharmaceutical clinics. So I did a lot of clinics with my pharmaceutical reps who brought in their doctors. So think of title, right? Title reps bringing agents in. So my pharmaceutical reps brought all their doctors in and we hosted them at Coyote, and I did a clinic for them, and we took them all out to the golf course. We did playing lessons. So I had this pretty substantial black book when I left. So Tom and I sat down and we just went through that black book. So I started from there. So my business I brought over of just the doctors I knew. He goes, "Hey, I got the mortgage. We'll work together until you fly out of the coop," which was about 10 months. Then I was on my own. So everything's been referral.
Cool. And how long did it take you to get your first client?
It was fairly soon. It was actually probably, maybe a few months. I had a doctor that we did our intro, our letters and some emails out, and no one really trusted me, but they love who I was, and Scott is the golfer, right? So because I got the phone call like, "Hey, can you play in our scramble? Hey, can you play in our company stuff?" I got those calls like 10 times a year. But and then those relationships now then I brought Tommy with me. So Tommy was the lone guy, so to speak, until I started communicating on files, and I started to use Mortgage Coach early in my career, and I'm starting to do all that stuff. So then about 10 months I got it, right? I would say about the 10-month market clicked. I got it. I got this. This is easy.
Yeah, I remember mine. Mine, gosh, man, what year did you start?
2001.
Okay, I was in '98, and the 125s. I don't know if you remember 125s. So yes, those of you guys that don't remember, we could actually lend up to 25% over the value of your house. And those days were awesome. But they lasted for like 2 or 3 months in my career, and then it died, and then just like that, that was over. We were charging 10 points, on them, and, a lot of them were only like $40,000, but still 40
That was
grand,
not
right?
me. That was not me. I came in after that phase.
All right, so you started using Mortgage Coach early on. I remember Savage kept trying to come over, and he kept trying to tell me to start using it and using it, and then I even got it, just because he's so damn good at putting pressure on people. Yeah, yeah, I mean, man, ended up in Washington D.C. because of him. Anyways, um, and I still didn't use it every once in a while, but that's about it, right? And then one day he like started in on me, and I was like, man, I don't know what to tell you. It's like I don't need it. My clients are all referred to me. They all say yes. I don't get shopped. I don't like. Why would I waste my time doing it? And he said something, and it really resonated still to this day, right? And I say the same thing now. But basically he said, "Listen, I know you're good, and I know you get referrals, and I know like you have that whole thing going on." But he goes, "If you did this, I can promise you the level that your clients will start thinking of you is going to be so much higher than the level they think of you now. And I know you think it's good, but there's another level. And if your clients can start thinking of you that way, you'll see even more referrals coming in. You'll see more loyalty. You'll see more of all of that stuff happening." And I was like, all right. And it just so happened I had a client get referred to me like that next day, and she was coming at a Chase, and she was pissed off because, something happened. The realtor said, "Hey, can talk to Dino?" And I did a mortgage coach for her. And I remember her saying to me, she goes, "I got to tell you, this is really professional, and I really appreciate this. Even the guys at Chase didn't do anything like this, right? They just emailed me, a quote." So I was like, "Huh, it does work." And anyways, long story short, I believe in tools, and I believe we need to use them, and I believe that too many people are lazy, for whatever reason, and I think it's a habit that you need to form. So for you guys doing loans right now, you need to get yourself into a habit of doing something. And the more you do it, the faster you can knock that stuff out. But it becomes a signature of yours. It becomes who you are. And it is professional. And I think one of the most important things you guys can really like truly start doing is being professional. I mean, don't be the jackass on the side of the street selling loans, be the professional. Like our industry should be at the same level as financial planners and CPAs and attorneys. Like, granted, maybe slightly lower than an attorney and a few other things, but dude, we make more money than all of them. Like, we should we should elevate our performance levels to match the kind of money we make off of people. So that's my viewpoint, which now I want to bring that into Housing Link and talk a little bit about why what you created and why you created it.
So, well, hold on. Before we go there, you made you're making it some interesting points I think people need to take note of. Especially this market moving forward in the AI world we're moving into. Um, Consumers get, I mean, we just did I'll give you an example. So, what I'll give you a story. This will really help. I coach once a month in Go Coaching, right? For Housing Link, right? I'm a coach. So I'm in there, right, for Housing Link and, Amir and just helping them. So I show up once a month, right? First Wednesday. So I had a young woman show up and she goes, "Hey, I love this. I'm doing a presentation to the Jersey board, doing a realtor class in Jersey." She goes, "I think this would be great." I go, "I agree with you. I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal, Deborah. You just join Housing Link, right? I'll help you get set up. That's easy. But I'll for 1 month, I will train you. I will build a deck for you, and I want you to take this to you'll do that for me and present this to your agent me." And she goes, I go, "That would be great." Or she said, "Here's what she did." And I go, I'm going to give you a little bit how to present here. And this is the consumer. This goes into exactly what you're saying. I think LOs need to take this playbook. We started with a slide and we showed them. So we go, "Agents, do you agree?" Oh, and by the way, let me tell you how many people attended her event. Take a guess. 497 agents attended the class. And you know what we framed it all on is how to modernize your business, right? And we open with a slide and say, "How many think today's buyers are modern?" Right? And we ask them the question like, "Well, I don't know." I'll go, so let's show you. What is that? That's Netflix. That's what they look at every single day. Next slide is, well, that's Amazon. That's what they shop on every single day. And then we showed them a picture of Chat GPT. That's what they learn on every day. Guys, your customers are very modern as far as their experiences. They're way more educated when Dino and I came in the market back in the 90s and the early 2000s. Way more, right? That was easy. So, what you do today as far as professionalism and how you can organize that information they know is critical. So, she just went on and just showed him how she modernized it through her Housing Link, obviously, and she crushed it. And, so I agree with you. So, today's LO, there's no more, "I'm going to throw a fee sheet out there." I sound like Dave Savage, but that's just lazy. And I think the turning point, and you said it, is all you need is that one customer goes, "Dino, that was awesome. Like, my wife and I saw that. We get it. This is way better than the email that Chase sent me, so to speak, right? That you were referring to." All you need is that one like validation of that experience. But also, most of your competitors are what? Lazy. So it's just changing that. This is who I am. You said that one little validation from an agent, from your referral partner, your planner, or that consumer flips the entire business on its head immediately. So now, Housing Link. Why did I do it? Easy. We're just pivoting into another buy down market in 18 and 19. I was frustrated with the tools we had as an industry. I have MBS Highway. I have Mortgage Coach. I have Canva. I have BombBomb. I have Loom. I have all this stuff, right? Not really what I just have a TCA, so to speak, right? So I have a TCA, but I couldn't get it on a listing. I couldn't get it in new construction. It was a basically it was a conversion tool for the client for me, and it was dead, right? I had nowhere to use it. So I wanted to build a platform I can bring all my tools together. So I want to do a listing. Great. I'm going to open with a video of Scott, me explaining who I am and how my goal is to create affordability. And then I'm going to bring in my TCA to show them how I create that, a little bit of verbiage on there, then bring the property in, and then bring my tools together to go ahead and help the seller and the listing agent create education around that property. That is a use case. And all because I can bring my tools together to properly educate. That's Housing Link.
So tell me, in a little more of a granular fashion now how somebody would use it. A loan officer says, "All right, show me."
Okay. So here's an easy this I love this question. So here's an easy one. So think of this. I'm not going to use you, Dino. Or actually I will. No, I'm just going to use the L who's watching. Think of the LOs in today's industry, what a vast majority, almost 99% of them all do. And I'll even ask them when they're coming to a demo to Housing Link, I'll ask them, all right, guys, hey, my wife and I come to you. We're getting approved. You approved us, right? You approved us. What do you do as an LO to provide my wife and I with that approval and allow us to go shopping? What do you do? Like, oh, well, okay, Scott. Well, I'll just put an email together. Hey, congratulations, you're approved. I'll put some final numbers. I'll give you the PDF pre-approval letter, and that's kind of it. Would you agree with that as far as our industry? Yeah. And so I wanted to change that. So now what our Housing Link LOs do, they issue a private presentation. It's a lot of one to many, but you can easily tweak it to Scott and Lisa Nicholson. Hey, Scott. Hey, it's Dino here. Congratulations. Been fully approved, ready to go. So down below, number one is your TCA has the final loan numbers, your approval. Two, it has your PDF, which is your pre-approval letter, which you can download and have and just save it. Three, I have my production partner in there. So if you have any questions for either for myself or her, you can go and reach out to any of us. Four, I have what's called a buyer pass. Click on that. That's going to load in your Apple or Google wallets. And then that is your pass to go shopping at any open house or any new construction. So if anyone asks you, hey, Scott and Lisa, have you been approved with your lender? Do you have representation? So when they scan that pass for our client, up pops a custom presentation from the LO. It's a video, has the letter, has the buyer agent, has the buyer broker agreement, has everything they need either to get in the open house, have the representation, or new construction. So there's an example of how our industry is still stuck with a PDF and like, hey, go get it. Whereas I can live on their phone and have everything on their phone that they can go anywhere with. If that's an example of one.
Let me ask you this question, and I'm not trying to be combative, uh,
It's
but
your podcast,
it's my
right?
podcast, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask. So I've talked to a few different people about Housing Link, and they love it, by the way. And they're trying to tell me about it and all that stuff, and I'm like, yeah, man, and I know Scott. I think it's great. If I was an LO, I'd be using it right now. But as they're telling me, I can't help myself. Like that whole like, hey, it's on my phone, it's in my wallet, I got my approval. How much does that actually get used? Because if I were out shopping for a house right now, would anybody ever say, "Stop! You can't come in here until you have an approval"? You're
Yeah.
like, "I got
Yeah.
it, baby."
Yeah. Yeah. And
Right?
what's
Like,
so this is a great question. So, and I love this, and I'm going to show you one. So, because I have my phone here, just the viewer can see, right? Here it is right here. I don't know if you could see it on my phone. You see the buyer pass, right? So that pass, right? You walk in there, right? So now in Texas, did you know in the state of Texas that you have to have your buyer broker?
put it up real quick. I'm gonna see if I can
Oh yeah.
scan it.
Oh yeah. You can do that. Let's put that in there.
And
I'll
for all
give
you
you.
guys watching right now too, get your phones ready.
Yeah.
Put it up a little bit higher.
Okay. So now, did you know in the state of Texas, it is required to have your buyer broker agreement going into an open house? Same with Oregon. California, us in California, like, we're kind of 50-50. We don't care unless it's the agent, buy the book, most, whatever. But now think of this. Put your young cap on, your young hat on when you and I were just getting into the housing market as consumers or our kids. Imagine we all get approved with Scott and his team, right? Or a Housing Link LL, and we issue the approval on their phone. Imagine our kids right now. How do they feel about that? Not you and I, right? Like old guys, right? We don't care, right? How do the younger generation feel about having all of their documents, everything they're going to need? They're enabled to go. Now, remember, new construction, they want your representation. So I think in that one I gave you, that's a buyer broker agreement in there, along with the letter, along with my
But
video.
by the way, that
So,
link doesn't work.
oh, it does it? What?
I mean, hey, we can just delete that whole damn thing off the podcast
Oh,
if you want.
I don't know. Maybe that's our new launch right there. That's weird. That's
Gosh darn
interesting.
it. I wanted to
Yeah.
see it. I wanted everybody
Oh,
else to see it.
oh, hold on a
All right.
second.
Hey, no problem. Just keep
Oh yeah.
talking.
So
We'll
what?
find it at the end and then give it to us. Also, I'm going to put it on the show notes.
So think of this. I have LOA and LOB. LOA just sends the pre-approval letter. Hey, go get it, Tiger. Knock yourself out. Or LOB says part of the approval, right? Here it is, right? And when they click on it, all they do is they click on it, loads on their phone. They're going to go shopping. Now let's pause for a second. No matter where they go, they show it. I'm going to give you a story, and I'm going to give you a story of a client of mine that came in. I use my own software when I do lend. I'm going to give you a story of what happened. You'll be surprised. But imagine everything's on their wallet. They can easily access it if need be. What if they're at work and says, hey, I just got approved. We're going to go house shopping this weekend. We got our buyer pass. What do you mean buyer pass? Oh, yeah, here it's right here. Oh, well, I got approved down the street at Chase and I got a pre-approval letter. Do you know everyone who scans that link goes on their phone? It's like a virus in a way. So in a way, I'm marketing myself as an LO. So if mom and dad, hey guys, we got approved with Scott and Dino and the team. Here's our pass. What do you mean pass? And the dad goes, show me that pass. How do you think they feel about that? So think of the marketing. So here's the story. I have a good friend of mine. They sold a property in Colorado. They're moving next to mom in Rossmore. You know where Rossmore is, California, Ross down there, Seal Beach, Rossmore. So they're moving next to mom in Rossmore. Approved them, ready to go, sent them the approval, sent them their pass. They flew in every weekend. They went to 19 open houses. That link kept getting open all the time. I was watching it. On house 18, I think it was the house that we wrote the offer. So they found the house. They walked into Mark, which I knew this after the fact. Mark scanned it, and I get a call from the listing or the buyer agent Saturday night. Hey, Scott, we found a house. We want to write an offer on the Rossmore. And okay, great. And we do what's called a digital offer. It's the next step. And so it gets a housing link. It's a video from me to the listing agent. Hey, Mark, it's Scott. Hey, I just left you the voicemail. I'm working with Sal, or her name was Betty, whatever the listing or buyer agent was. Here's fully approved, underwritten, ready to go. Here's how we're going to structure the loan. Here's everything you're going to need. I drop it on his phone. Immediately texts me, dude, love this. Because he's just watching me talk to him and his seller and all the things they need on there. Well, that was Sunday. And guess we get multiple offers, and guess what we got on Monday? Good job, Scott. We're opening an escrow. Fast forward about 3 weeks. Tom Ferry rolls into Newport. He has an event there. And he's talking to a mutual friend of mine. He goes, hey, that Nicholson guy, I got this buyer pass thing. I'm like, dude, that's pretty slick. All of a sudden, he sends me the offer because they want to buy our house, sends me this offer the next day on Sunday. I've been in the industry forever and a day. That thing like immediately stood out. You know what was killer about that? I just forwarded that link to my seller. And they saw Scott talking to me, right? And they go, I like this offer. It's in our range. It's all competitive in the 5. There's 5 other offers. We went with that one. And you know why? Because I presented myself on the housing link. They could, just like this video here, they can see us. They can build trust immediately, have rapport in 90 seconds, right? And that's all it took. There's an example of a 1-2 punch. Me living on a client's phone with a pass. Yeah, there's going to be times like I don't give a shit about that.
Let me jump in. And again, I'm just playing devil's advocate, right? And I know you got an answer to all this. I'm not worried about throwing it at you. I'm trying to think, and Granted, I don't originate much anymore. But whenever there's an offer, like we pre-approve somebody, we give them the approval letter. Really, the client never even, I don't think, does anything with it. The realtor gets it and only uses it. Now, granted, this is just Orange County, California. Really, like
Yeah.
the realtor gets it. They go look at houses together. They write an offer. The realtor emails the listing agent, says, "Here's our offer. Here's proof of assets. Here's for this is what we provide: proof of approval letter, proof of assets, first page of credit report, as our little package, right?" And they email all of that. Now, if that's not attached to the offer, and there's just a digital something, do they just like copy paste the barcode that you have? Or because now we're making them do an extra step, right?
Yeah. Easy. So I give them the letter. So I don't change the flow how a buyer agent works, right? So here's your letter. So you do. So here, let me back you up. Here's how this goes. So we do what's called a pre-offer consultation. So it's the buyer agent, the consumer, and the LO all sit down, quick little huddle. Could be a call, could be a Zoom, whatever you want to do. And it goes something just like this. Let's say you're the buyer agent, Dino. Hey, what are we writing at? Hey, we're going to do a 1,000,004 with 25 in the buy down. So we'll structure the offer at 1,004,25. Okay, great. We'll do the 30% down. So there's our LTV, here's our loan amount. Here's the letter matching the exact numbers. I go, hey, real quick, what's our buyer broker agreement at? 3%. Hey, I know you don't know. Do you know kind of what they're paying? Do I need to alter some money to pay for the buyer broker agreement? No, we're good, Scott. So don't worry about that. Okay. So here's your letter. You go, Dino. Here's what I want to know, guys. When you go, Dino, I want you to text me. So when that thing gets sent via your inbox, and it's the normal process, right? And the only reason that meeting came into place was because of NAR, right? Because we don't know, the seller could go, pound sand, I ain't paying nothing. Then we have to, and they want to buy that house. Well, we have to alter to get the buyer agent paid to fulfill the buyer broker agreement. You following me there? So that's the only reason why we changed that. And then now we said, okay, Dino goes. I get a text, dude, I just sent it. And then I pick up the phone. Let me pause for a second. Think of the people listening to this podcast. How many of you call listing agents on your offers? I will say the answer, Dino. Those are answering. I would say 3/4 today. Would you agree with that? Yeah.
It's
Of
kind of
those
a
three
way.
quarters,
Personally, I feel like it's a waste of time.
yeah, I do too. And because of the 3/4, how many listing agents actually pick up their phone? Zero. I mean, yeah, we've been doing the buyer offer for 5 years at Housing Link. I've had maybe 2 or 3 agents in 5 years pick up their phone. Some are different, maybe small town, they know who you are, right? Hey, Scott, you know, but no one, especially in this day, spam calls everywhere. No one picks up the phone. So I'll say to the LO, okay, so no, Scott, I do that. I call. Okay, so it goes to voicemail. What do you say? What do you do? Oh, hey, we're gonna write an offer. We're gonna do 1,004,25. We're gonna do 25 in the buy down. Hey, I got the buyer broker agreement. We're cool. Hey, we're gonna do a $10,000 concession on there. What's the listing agent thinking? Fuck, slow down, right? That's just too much. Like delete, right? But what happens is I'll go, hey, Dino, it's Scott over here at Ethos. We're gonna write an offer. I'm working with Brad Kerr. He's already sent the offer. And then now when I hang up, I'm going to send you a private link, Dino. And on that link has 3 things from me. Just a short video from me explaining what we've done as far as underwriting conditions. 2, pre-approval letter for your records, you and your seller. And then 3, client gives authority to share how and why we structured the offer. Click. Hey, Dino, Scott, just left you the voicemail. Here's our the financial aspect of our offer. And in the voicemail, Brad Kerr's already sent the offer. In 5 years, my personal pull through rate is on acceptance in 5 years? 79%. Think about that. And the only reason is because of how we communicate. And we've beat out cash offers. We've beat out Slightly higher ones or like very competitive, and the only reason they could see and hear the LL. And if the guy or the gal is like, "Oh, we kinda underwritten them, but we got a ton of conditions, right? I think we can close on time." Dude, don't turn your video off and stop. Don't send that, right? And if you can communicate well, shoot, turn on your Loom video and get it done. And here's the thing, I was on a call with a large coaching group, and, they saw the offer, and a gentleman pop up from the Northeast. He goes, "Hey, I gotta be honest with you, Scott. This is you right here. This would be you on the call. There's no way I would ever use that, Scott, to be honest with you." I go, "Okay, so why?" "It looks too complicated." "Okay, what else?" "I just wouldn't use it. It looks too complicated." I go, "Well, let's open it up." All I did was a little video. "Do you do video?" I go, "Yeah, sometimes." I go, "Just a little video, drop the PDF, hit the buyer agent, put the property on there." So I built it in 90 seconds in front of them. I go, "So it takes me 90 seconds or 2 minutes to build one. Well, let me ask you this, Dino." Let's say you were the guy, the pushback. "What do you do when you send your offer out?" "Oh, I put an email together, I form an email out, I get all this, I'll drop a little MP4 video in there, I'll do how I use Mortgage Coach, I'll put that in there, right? I'll send this email." "How long does that take you?" 15 minutes. "Okay. What's your pull through rate?" He goes, "That's a good question." I go, "Maybe 1 of 5, 1 of 6. Well, imagine I could shorten your duration and like massively move up your conversion rate. I mean, think of that. If we're writing 10 offers a month and you're only getting 3 of 10 or whatever, and you can go to 6 or 7 of 10. But also, before you push back on me, 50% of the listing agents goes, "I love this. I would love to talk to you about more about this." And I go, how many originators have had a listing agent from an offer going, "We need to talk. Great email, Dino. Great PDF. Great email. Thanks for the 5-minute voicemail." They're not calling you because of that.
Let me ask you this question too. So, one of your clients and one of my newer friends, who I do respect quite a bit, Abdel, uh,
Uh,
out in New Jersey, he'll uh, he'll do the random f bomb here and there just because he's from New Jersey, and it has to come out. But the dude is polished. He's really techy. He thinks of everything. He's got an incredible presentation. I really like, and he's a younger guy, so I really enjoy watching him perform, and how he's putting everything together. And I know he loves your platform, but he also uses it to go attract real estate agents. So you want to tell us how he does that?
yeah. So there's not only him, a bunch of the LOs on the platform, and what they do, and I'll take it to two different agents. I'll do the buyer agent and I'll do the listing agent, right? So the buyer agents are easy. That was the premise of the Go Coaching Deborah, so to speak, of what she presented to the Jersey agent group. And it was helping the buyer agents who live in still the emails and PDFs, right? Of just bringing them digital. So she shows them, if we have an opportunity to work with your clients' buyer agents, this is how we convert the lead. So it's our initial consultation housing link. This is how we approve them and we set them up to go the final number so they get it right. Everyone's included. You guys are in there every step of the way, from the initial consultation housing link to the approval housing link to the buyer pass. Buyer agents, let me pause for a second. Buyer agents absolutely love the pass and the offer. You know why? Creates stickiness and helps them get that executed buyer broker agreement, right? Number two, I need an LO that helps me win offers. How are you guys? So imagine if this buyer agent goes, "Okay, I'm interviewing LOs today. And the single thing I need help on, guys, I need to know what you're going to do to help my offers get selected over others." And if that, not that we're like 100 grand under, if we're competitive, what do you do competitive to help us? Well, there it is right there. And so that's all we do is we go lead, approval, shop, win the offer, and post close. And so that's what he's mastered. And that's what I teach everyone on Housing Link. Master that first. So now they can go out to every single brokerage, buyer agent, say, here's how we're going to help you convert and win and maintain. Now to the listing agents, it's easy. It's 2 words: affordability and visibility. It's all it is. Affordability and visibility. You're distracted right now. You were looking down. I'm like Oz the mentalist right now, right? You're distracted. So, what do I mean by affordability and visibility? Affordability is how many listing agents' properties are sitting right now. If I put 100 of them out right in front of us, probably 70 of them, right? Maybe, right? So, price reduction. You and I know this answer to this question. Does price reduction help affordability if the property is already priced correctly? Yeah. So let's say it's $1 million house, you drop it, 25K. Most people don't show the numbers to agents for them to like click into it. So you have $1 million house. If your next move on day 40 is to do a price drop for 25K, you're going to save a potential buyer $170. You're doing really nothing. So you're spending your seller's capital to help a problem, right? A massive problem, affordability, and you only save them $170. That's no one's going to move on that. Where we can allocate the same amount of capital, right? And if we're at 1 million, right, and we're comp there, we now can bring Dino and Scott in. We can market our listing, right? This is Housing Link again. So we have a whole listing platform. We can market it and allocate the 25K for a perm buy down. Now, I always use the 3-to-1 ratio. What that means is for every dollar you reduce price, it's equivalent to $3 in rate. I'm sorry, flip it. Every dollar in rate is equivalent to $3 in price. So let's use real numbers. 10,000 to reduce price, you save, you only save $100. You put the same 10,000 reduced rate, you're saving $300. So think of a 3-to-1 ratio. So when you show a seller like, hey, how do you want to deploy capital? Do you want to deploy the 20K to save this, or do you want to put the same 20K and save that? When they see that, they go, well, how do you help me market that? So there's my affordability. And then we have our link, right? So there's boots on the ground, the open houses and all that stuff. We have the housing link, which goes to CRMs, to social, and so on. So we run visibility on that. So without getting too much in the weeds, there's a whole marketing platform that we launched in the ecosystem. LOs are pushing 30 to 40,000 in a 10-day window to those properties right now. So affordability and visibility are 2 key things. So modernize the buyer agent and help them, right? Help them convert what they're getting and help them show value. And then the seller is how we can educate with affordability and give them visibility.
Scott, I hear from loan officers all the time. It's like, well, how do I approach a realtor? What do I say to them, right? And I can tell you this, that if you don't have anything, then you can say the same thing as every other loan officer out there. Hi, my name's Dino. I do loans. I'm really fast and got great rates. And yeah. But if you do have some of these tools, it can give you that thing to go out there and talk about. All you need is something to talk about, and it's professional looking, and it's something that can help them grow their business, right? By getting offers accepted, like Scott talked about. So I think it's important to do that. And you know what? You'll refine your pitch. You'll see how they reacted. You'll refine it a little bit. But the one thing I'm enjoying about you, though, Scott, and I don't know how much of it you do to your clients. I shouldn't say clients, the ones that buy Housing Link. Do you have like a once a week or something, like a coaching call for them?
3 times a week.
3 times a week. Okay. And that's free, right? Like, I mean, you got years of wisdom here, so that's free. as opposed to going and spending money in coaching.
Yeah, yeah.
Something to think
So
about, guys.
it's so funny you say that. I've had many members goes, "Heck, I just come here for the coaching. Yeah, I love the tool, but I love the coaching." And so what I realized was, well, shoot, I have this 26 years of how I've done business that I could maybe help some of them. So I just said, "All right, let's just come together, with Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and let's start working together and start, doing small workshops and helping them through the thing." It's amazing veterans, right, that haven't really upped their game. And I'm worried about some of them too. And I said, well, calling names like, guys, come on, you got to put a little bit more in your craft. And that's what you were alluding to earlier. Guys, up the game right now. In this day and age, man, if you're not up in your game, you're going to get smoked in this market.
I don't feel bad for him anymore. I'm kind of over
Yeah,
it. It's
that's
like,
true.
you know
Yeah.
what? It's your own fault. It's just like,
2026, man.
yeah,
Come on. If you haven't done it by now, you're never going to do it. So,
you can sunset yourself, in a few more years if you want, I guess. Whatever. It's your choice, right? Okay, so I got to start bringing this to an end. Two final questions. The first one should be easy, but what's your favorite book?
oh shoot. I love Storybrand. I'm in Storybrand. I read it like 3 times already. Donald Miller. I don't know if you know it. I just love that book.
I
Um,
don't know why I've never read that one. Actually, I'll buy
it's
it.
it's a really good book. Donald Miller. Get the ebook. It's awesome. Or the audio, I should say. It's great. Just the way he frames things, it helps my mind. So
Okay. Now, my favorite question of the whole podcast. You got 26 years of experience, got tons of tools and all that stuff, but I'm going to strip you clean of everything except for your knowledge. And I'm going to give you a budget that's enough to pay for your rent, pay for your food, and you have just enough to decide, like, maybe I should get some of these tools, maybe I can do this one on my own, right? Like, just enough. And you got to go out there and hustle,
I
right? Like,
love this
hustle.
question.
And you got to
Mwah.
make $1 million before you can come back and see your family or even talk to them. You're not going to see your daughter get married. You're not going to get her walk her down the aisle or anything if you don't make $1 million and get your ass back home. How are you going to make $1 million?
Oh, I love this question. This is a great question. So, okay. Here, let's I can do, let's say you gave me budget for 3,000 and I need for room and board and housing and food and all that different stuff, right? I'm going to say 2,700 is allotted for that and I have 300 for my business right now, right? Starting from scratch.
And you don't
I'm
know
going to
anybody because I
I don't know
dropped you off somewhere in the United States.
nobody. I'm going to spend my $99. And if you send me a heartfelt email of going, hey, it's really tough, this and that, I'll maybe cut you a little deal to get you 6 months of going, right? Or whatever, because I got a big heart, right? But let's say I'm not that way. So it's 99 I spent on there. I have $201 left. Next one I'm going to do is videos critical. I'm going to get my Zoom for $12, right? I think it's $12. I think Zoom's $12 because
Can't you
I'm
do
going
it
to
for
run
free?
I do the paid one.
But
I'll
you're
spend 12
you're you're
bucks
on a
on it.
budget. Yeah.
The reason I'm doing that is I'm going to run my consultations off of that, and I use what's called Zoom clips. Those are my one-to-one. So I'm at $111 now spent. The next one I'm going to go is get Canva. That's my branding, right? So it works great with Housing Link. So I spend another $12. So I'm all in right now for, $125. We'll call it, right? Somewhere in there. I still got 175 left. I'm going to go get some type of software, either Mortgage Coach, Home Power, whatever it may be, right? MBS Highway. I'm just going to look around. The video's the key part here. I'm sorry, one more video. Loom. I love Loom. And Loom is, for me, it's one-to-one. I'll open up the Loom right on top of a CD or an LE or right on top of an Excel or whatever. I'll record, hey guys, it's Scott. Hey, here's our numbers. And I'll just drop that in my Housing Link. So I got 4 software now. Housing Link, Canva, Zoom to run my one-to-minis, my consultations, agent appointments, my Loom for very small details. I can literally stop there, right? And invest the other $50, $80 I have left over. Oh, no, wait. I bought a software, my number software. So let's say I'm at 100. I'm all in for 250. I got $50 left over, and I'm going to invest it with Dino on who's my financial planner, invest $50 for my girl's wedding. So there's my answer. There's my software pack. The rest is garbage. Not garbage. I don't need it. I could get to my million with that tech stack right there.
Now get granular with me. How are you going to go meet people? How are you going to get people to trust you?
So I'm going to go after buyer agents and I'm going to go after listing agents. So listing agents, I'm going to go to Redfin. I'm going to filter it. I'm going to look days on market. I'm going to anything north of 30 because 30, they're thinking, I got to have a conversation with a seller. How do I present it to them? Like, hey, I kind of, I kind of lied to you. Your house wasn't worth $1 million. It's only 950, right? I said that to get your listing. Now they got to get out of it because their days on market. So I'm going to go to them and say, hey, I'm going to drop a little housing link on their phone. Hey, Dino, it's Scott over here. Hey, I want to help you create affordability and visibility on your listing. Here's an example of a listing, how we could market, rate buy downs and education. I'd love to work with you. Do you have 15 minutes? So I can go after Tyre Orange County or the states I work in. Second thing is, hey, I'm going to go to my Redder or whatever service you like to use. I'm going to find buyer agents that are doing transactions in our market, right? I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to pull my targets in there. I'm going to make a phone call, right? With a text, right? Usually goes to voicemail with a text. Hey, Dino, I pulled your numbers. I love what you're doing. I want to really help you go to another level. And I'm going to show you my buyer process from converting all of your Zillow. I know you're Zillow Flex agent, all your Zillow Flex leads. I'm going to show you an example of that, how we win in multiple offers and how we maintain the relationship. I'll just show them 3. I love to sit down. Here's some examples. So there, I'm not overwhelming on email, 5 minutes on a voicemail. I'm dropping my resumes in my housing link with live examples and how, one, I could create a visibility and education, right? And then also how I help them convert the lead, win the offer, and maintain the relationship for a buyer agent. That's how I go.
Man, you didn't even have to think about that one. You
No,
just
that's a
rolled with it.
layup. That was a layup on me right there.
Every once in a while, I have to admit, I ask that question. Every once in a while, I have to be honest and feel like, gosh, I wish I could just do that one time. I wish
Yeah.
I could just go prove it that I still
Yeah.
got it, that
Yeah.
I can just go out there and
Let's
hit it
go.
hard
Let's
without
go.
knowing anybody.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
think it'd be super cool if
Yeah.
he took like a group of us and
Yeah.
said, you guys are all in the same city. Let's
Yeah.
see what you guys do. Let's see
Let's
who gets there first.
Oh, I love that. Let's do that. No, I'm gonna drop a stat on you. I still hang my license. I won't say where. I'd still hang my license in 4 years. So think of this in this market. Are we in a difficult market or an easy market? This is a brutal market. I think it's brutal than '08. I personally feel. '08 was easy. Get inventory, just find the right buyers and structure here. There's a lot of dynamics here. I've not had one PE in 4 years. So imagine if you were my branch manager. Would you be happy with me? Not one PE. Not once did I go, hey, Dino, I need 75 bips off this, right? To make this thing work. Not one. Think of
Aren't
that.
you special?
No, the point, though, here's the point. No, here's the point being in here is because how I presented and I'm on Housing Link every single one. I didn't mean that to boast or brag. I mean, the point was anybody can do this. The value was so superior in what we were doing other than the competitors. And I had people go, hey, I could go to Navy Federal and get a quarter here. Knock yourself out. Go get it. Well, no, hold on, right? Just what you were doing was another level. The whole rate shopping and the value thing just kind of goes away, right? And you're just, that's the point. No matter anyone can do it. Not Scott's so special, so to speak. So
I love busting your chops though. All right,
yes, I
listen, I
appreciate
got to
that.
call it. But thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it. For all you guys listening, check out housing.link. And if you have questions, just reach out to him. As you can see, he has a lot of answers. So he'll be able to answer any question you have. I guarantee it. And we're going to have all this stuff in the show notes. You can go to our website, dinokatsiametis.com. And thank you guys. We actually just moved up a little over the top 100, unfortunately, but we're hovering right in there in the business category in Apple Podcasts. So huge win for the podcast, huge win for all of us in the mortgage industry. So thank you guys. Love you guys. And we'll see you next time.